Hello, and welcome to the Warm Podcast, where we discuss the current state and future of the music industry. We talk to some of the most interesting behind-the-scenes leaders, trendsetters, and entrepreneurs who are shaping the music business today. On this episode, we speak to Matthias Strobel. Matthias is the founder of MusicTech Germany, the world's first and only organized association for music tech companies. The organization was started to create more dialogue and collaboration within the music tech community, but now also works to create a closer relationship with the traditional music industry. Matthias talks about some of the tensions and challenges that exist between the music industry and music tech and what can be done to make things better. We also talk about why Germany has been home to a huge amount of leading music tech companies over the years, and discuss some of the most important current trends and which exciting new startups we should be looking out for. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy. So, could you tell me a little bit about your background in music and tech?
Oh yeah, so I came to music technology in 2011 when I finished my studies of business communication. Friends of mine were working on a new kind of interactive musical instrument that uses the Kinect camera. But for them, it was basically more a creative project, and but they wanted to turn it into a business model and start a startup. So I got there, and they already were already far down the road and developed a technology that enables the software to translate any kind of data stream into music in real time. So what we did is we took the data of the Kinect camera, which is like a motion capturing camera, and translated this camera into tonal musical structures. So you could basically stand in front of the camera and move your right arm and play drums with it, and the guitar with your left hand, and percussion elements with your feet. So it was all about position and speed of your limbs, and they would create music. That's when I got hooked with music technology. And because I was so blown away what they already have achieved, that I decided to stop what I was actually planning to and start the startup with them. And then we had a long journey until 2015. And before, we did a couple of other things with the technology. We decided to investigate how brainwave data works in order to make music out of it. And we also built an app that just uses the gyro sensor and accelerator sensor in the smartphone. So there were so many opportunities and ways to find new ways of interaction with music that we experimented a lot, and we continued developing different products, and we actually finished one that is now in use with Parkinson patients that they use in order to have audio feedback when they're doing the exercises. And so in 2015, I stopped working there, and I did something totally different because we had this refugee situation in Berlin. So I started a refugee camp, managed it for half a year, and then joined MusicTech Fest, which is like the festival of music ideas, and which takes place this year in September in Stockholm. And I was at MusicTech Fest a couple of times before with Narwhal Sounds. That's the name of the startup that I co-founded. And because the whole atmosphere and the whole concept of this event was so great, when they asked me if I want to join the team, I was super happy to do that. And then I worked for MusicTech Fest for 1.5 years, and we did a couple of satellite events and mini MusicTech Fests all around the world. And I more and more realized that this is the only network out there for music technology people, and there should be more networks, and especially more networks in each country, that people can actually meet each other and not just know from each other, but get to know each other and exchange thoughts and ideas and experiences. So this is when I came up with the idea to start MusicTech Germany, which is the Federal Association for Music Technology in Germany, in order to connect all these people, gather them under one roof, and be a contact point for the music industry as well, because the traditional music industry didn't have any network or contact point where they would go to and could ask about trends in the future or available tools and technologies. And so the idea of music technology is to provide this infrastructure for the music industry and to gather all these music tech people that are here.
And MusicTech Germany is the world's first trade organization for music tech. Is that correct?
Yes, it's not a real trade organization. It's more like an association that gathers all the people. It's not particularly meant for trade purposes, but it's the first organized association for music technology worldwide. And I hope that there's a lot will follow this example and establish their own music tech networks and associations in their countries.
And was it also in order to facilitate dialogue and collaboration between different music tech companies?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is one of the main reasons why I decided to start this. That people get easier access in order to collaborate with each other, because most of the music tech startups, and that's a total normal thing with all industries, are so busy with their own company structure, with building products and services, so they don't have the time to actually set up a network and find the right people to collaborate with. So for them, it's way easier if there's already a place where they can go to and see who else is available in this country or anywhere else in the world, in order to find out if there's any partners out there that are worth collaborating with. And this was the main reason to start this. And then there was a study that was done by Sound Diplomacy and the Senate of Berlin, that investigated how the music industry in Berlin and the tech industry in Berlin feels about the situation right now. And the outcome of this report was that the industry wishes to have a contact point in order to explore trends of the future, and the tech people wants to have this network in order to actually physically meet each other or digitally exchange thoughts or have a platform. And so these are the two main reasons. And the third reason why we decided to build this association on a federal basis is that in Germany, at least, there is no funding structure, public funding structure at all for music tech people. So if you're a music tech startup and you want to apply for funding, you can apply for cultural funding, but then you wouldn't get it, and they would tell you, oh no, it's too technical. And if you apply for tech funding, they would say, no, it's too arty. So you're always in this gap if you build a music tech startup. And one of the reasons this exists or this doesn't exist is because the politics and the whole structure of the creative industries in Germany also didn't have anyone to contact or talk about this situation. And they were actually quite happy when I approached them and told them, hey, I want to start this federal association so that you have someone to talk to when you write this new calls and this new funding programs. And we would be happy if we could help writing these funding programs, that it's in line with what is needed.
So what are some of the specific challenges for the music tech community as you see it?
Oh, I mean, there's this is also what we experience with our startup, is that the music tech people, the people with passion for music and technology, they start building products or services mostly out of a passion, and but mostly with no clue about the complexity and the structure of the music industry, how it works with rights management and all the other things. The music industry is a really complex industry. So what happens a lot is that music tech startups start to build their products and services, and then when they're done with it, they approach the certain people in the value chain in the music industry and tell them, hey, look, we built this amazing product or service for you. And then it often happens that these people or actors say, hey, yeah, that's cool, but that's not actually what we need. And to get rid of this gap of knowledge between both industries, it's important that there is a platform or a way for knowledge transfer. And that's a big issue for both sides, because the music industry, I mean, we have this value gap situation right now because the music industry never brought up an innovation from the inside. So it was always tech companies from the outside that built something and basically disrupted or innovated the music ecosystem. And because the tech companies didn't have any clue how the whole thing works, we have things like YouTube these days that are using creative works of others and monetizing them. And that's in a not fair way. But this not fair way only exists because the music industry didn't bring up it by itself. So in order to change this in the future, it's important that the music industry and the tech providers and maybe even researchers all sit together and try to shape the future of the music industry. And this can only happen if everybody connects with each other on an eye level and says, hey, let's work together. Let's see where our biggest challenges are and let's try to solve them all together. And then the tech people can do what they can do best, build amazing products and services. And the music industry can do what they like best, is artists can make art, and the music industry can take care of making this artist having a living out of that. So, yeah.
As you say, there has been a lot of tension historically between the music industry and the tech industries. The music industry has often been skeptical, perhaps understandably. Do you see a change there? Is the music industry becoming more open to innovations coming from the music tech industry, as you see it?
It's hard to generalize in that matter because there are a few music industry actors that are super open for new technologies, and they understand that the future will be mostly technological or digital. And if they want to get a share of it, then they need to collaborate. So there are a few out there. We have like a few examples that are trying to change the whole system of licensing and provide a thing like a innovation license that music tech startups can get access of a certain catalog in order to develop real world products and not just products as mock-ups without any content. So there is a few of them, and it's mostly the independent labels and independent artists that are interested in what will come up in the future. It's rather the big labels that are still skeptical about what's going to happen because they are scared that they're going to lose their business models, that they don't understand what the tech people are talking about. And I think this is a big issue. It needs a lot of education on both sides, that they understand that nobody wants anything bad from the other. It's in the common sense and in the benefit of everyone if we develop stuff together. And I think the fault, that's nobody's fault that the music industry is still a bit skeptical about the whole thing. It's more than the structure of these big corporate label companies are pretty difficult and pretty complex. So it takes a while until everyone in this big system is convinced about the opportunities and chances of the future through technology. And then there's also this stereotype that's actually true, that most of these big music industry corporates are still run by a white old man that don't really bother about what the future will bring them, because they either get retired in the next 5 years and they just hope that it stays the way it is, or they just can't be bothered to learn new stuff and understand what's going on in the future. But I feel that there's a new wave and a new generation of music industry people coming in now that are understanding where this whole thing goes to.
There are a lot of cutting-edge music tech companies in Germany, coming out of Germany or based in Germany, especially Berlin. Everything from SoundCloud to Ableton, Native Instruments, the list goes on. Why do you think Germany is such a good place for music tech startups?
I mean, music technology has always been a big part of German innovation. So if you think about the turntable, the tape recorder, the microphone, the MP3, all these inventions that changed the music ecosystem came from Germany. So the history when it comes to music tech innovation has always been here. Then the other thing is that Berlin is still, compared to other capitals in Europe, super cheap. So from people that live somewhere else, For them, it's mostly not a problem to come over and survive here. It gets really complicated right now with like this whole gentrification thing and with like the speculants and investors that are buying off the whole city. But still, there is room, and because there has been always a big focus on art and creativity in the city, the infrastructure for, at least for the cultural and creative side, has been always here and has been always been fostered. So for a music tech person, it's or for a music person that likes tech, it's a perfect playground to experiment and to find other people that they can actually collaborate with. So Berlin is, or Germany at all, is just a place that provides all the stuff that music tech people are looking for when they want to build something.
And what are some of the more important trends in music tech as you see it right now?
I don't want to do this whole buzzword bingo thing, but and I hate talking about the whole blockchain theory all the time, but I strongly believe that this is going to change not only the music industry, but change the whole digital world. It might take a couple of years, and it might take a lot of years because we're still in, or the technology is still in its baby shoes. But I believe that this can be a huge game changer for music, the industry, and for everyone involved when it comes to transparency, rights management, royalty payment, fairness for artists, and also for the music industry that is still scared about the whole blockchain thing, because all they hear all the time is, oh, it's cryptocurrency, and oh, they cut off the middleman, and we don't want to share our metadata. And I think this is also a problem that needs to be solved and can be solved. And the solution is all about education and knowledge transfer. So once the music industry understands that this is actually, or this will play in favor for them, because if they have an automated system for all these complex things that they have established over the years, if that's going to be solved, they have more time to develop new income streams and take care of the artist, do what they are supposed to be, like do all the administrative work around an artist so that the artist can focus on art. So I think the blockchain thing from an infrastructural and from a systematical perspective, it's something that's going to change the whole music industry, and it's an important technological invention that came up. And then there are a few other things that are going to be interesting but haven't been explored a lot. The whole smart speaker evolution that's going to take place in the next couple of years will have an impact on the music industry. And from a sound and musical perspective, I believe that with VR, we will see a whole new bunch of musicians and artists creating music in a totally different and new way, with 3D audio, spatial audio, and all that new opportunities that come in with this technology. Musicians get a whole lot more of creative options and ways to create their art and express themselves in a musical way. Right now, the whole VR world hasn't applied this 3D audio thing a lot, but it will come. And then this will open a new door for the artistic way of making music.
And what about a thing like AI? Is that also something you see making an impact?
Yeah, absolutely. This is also it relies also to like the smart speaker development. I believe that AI is going to play a major role in music on certain levels. Also, the combination AI and blockchain when it comes to rights management, rights steering, and clearing data. This might be an interesting combination. Then also AI as a muse and as a partner for artists when they create their musical pieces. And then even AI as a standalone music composer and producer, since the value of music has gone down and people don't really care about the artist and the idea and concept of an album anymore, or not everyone, but quite a few. AI can actually fill this gap with having like music that is not as meaningful as it would have been done by an artist. So if you take Amazon Alexa's, the most the most used command last year was play me some music, and without having an artist name or anything in it. So that just shows that the people just want to listen to some music, and in the best case scenario, the music would fit their personal being and their situation right now. So with AI and sensor technology, I believe that, and the smart speaker technology, I believe that this combination will play a major role, but not as disrupting the whole industry and making the artists go away. It's just something that's going to be added to the whole music ecosystem. But AI will play a big role for sure.
And are there any specific startups out there that we should be keeping an eye on?
Oh yeah, there's a few. There's like you can go all the way through the value chain. There's a company called Sound Notation here in Hamburg. What they do is, you as a music producer, if you don't have any knowledge of notation, you can send them your WAV file, and they notate the song and send you a digital or a physical sheet with the notes of the music that you have produced. This might also be an additional revenue stream for artists, because they can sell these sheets, and other people who play piano or anything else could use these sheets in order to practice or use it in terms of creating an own version of it. Then there's Mimi Hearing. It's a totally different thing, but what they do is they created an algorithm and a technology that gives you the opportunity to have a personalized hearing experience, which means that you do a hearing test with their app. It takes 6 or 7 minutes. And if you listen to a song before you do the test, and then you do the test and you listen to the same song afterwards, you can see the huge difference that this algorithm makes. What they do is they reproduce the frequencies that you have lost since you are 18 years old. Every human being loses hearing over the time from 18 on upwards. And what they did, they built an algorithm that could actually replace this lost frequencies again. Then you have mod devices, which is, in my opinion, the future digital. They built a platform, an open source platform that was at the beginning meant for having a guitar pedal, all guitar pedals and instruments and effects in one digital guitar pedal. But now they extended this whole thing that you can use their Mod Duo for a lot of other things, and play it with your DAWs and with other stuff. And of course, when it comes to blockchain, you have Resonate here in Berlin that they're doing a great job. And I know Peter for a long time, and I know that he actually founded this. He calls it ethical. Exactly. So and he really has this mindset. And what I like is that he came up with the idea and the concept, and kept on pushing this concept and believing in it. And there's still no crypto coin for it, which will obviously come in the next couple of months. But what I like is that he thought about how this whole blockchain thing could benefit the artists and could make the music industry fairer and more transparent, and not think about how he can become rich in a short time. So I believe that his idea and concept is so well thought that it could actually have a huge impact on the music industry and the artists alike.